God gave me this platform. I already know I'm going to win.
China did our vote. Biden and Harris would say, hey, we're here to protect the country, and resign.
Mike Lindell's a conspiracy.
But you haven't.
Just forget about the evidence. This was attacked.
You know what time it is. Pillow Talk. So my fellow CEO, Mike Lindell, has, of course, been pushing this idea that somehow it's 2022, that the 2020 election is going to be pulled down anytime now, granting Donald Trump a return to the White House. And he thinks that it's going to begin in Arizona. So now, Arizona, that's important because recently there was a bill that was introduced by a Trump-supporting Republican, Mark Fincham, to decertify the state election in Arizona. We're still on this. We're still, we're going to decertify the election, and somehow that's going to mean that Donald Trump is going to win the election that he lost, and we had already been certified, et cetera, et cetera. Let me just say, never going to happen. Never going to happen. They're not going to decertify the election. Okay? Nonetheless, this bill, this long shot, is getting Mike Pillow to celebrate. Take a look.
They put this out. It's a declaration, everybody, to decertify Arizona and decertify their electors in the 2020 election. This is what we've been waiting for. If two more states do that, we got our country back and pulled down these electors.
Still trying. Look, that bill's nonsense. Now, Lindell, he's going to go on, of course, about supposed crimes. Oh, the Pennsylvania. Did you know Pennsylvania had more votes than voters? No, because that didn't happen. It's not true. Now, their supposed analysis is that, you see, we had more votes than voters, and so therefore the margin of voters that we had was more than the actual election results, and it was so wide. It's over 200,000 voters, don't you know? And so we have to just completely decertify the election. Well, that was based on a wild conspiracy theory that had a flawed analysis at the center of it. The people who did this analysis, one was an accountant. Yes, good with numbers, as you can see, not so good with actually how elections work and what actually happens during elections. See, a lot of the stuff that they say is, this is irregularities, or we've never seen this before. Actually very common. Very common. In fact, the Pennsylvania Department of State put this out, quote, the obvious misinformation put forward by Representative Ryan and others is a hallmark of so many of the claims made about this year's presidential election. When exposed to even the simplest examination, courts at every level have found these and similar conspiratorial claims to be wholly without basis. Yeah. And so there's something to do with like overcounting state, like down ballot races compared to the presidential races. Hey, did you know that more people vote for president than they do down ballot? But then they look at that and they say, oh my God, look at this disparity. There must be something wrong here. There must be something very shady. No. It's you trying to find a conspiracy theory to latch onto. But again, facts don't matter when you're a conspiracy theorist because A, you're obviously smarter than everybody else. Oh, I'm the only one who noticed this. Therefore, I am smart. And B, of course, obviously, they're trying to stop me from telling you the truth. Yes, oh yes. Because, they're trying to, who is they? Who's they? Well, it's them, it's the deep state. It's the opposing sides that are working together for some unknown reason in order to stop the truth from getting out there. And we don't know what the reason is, but we're pretty sure that whatever they're doing is bad and it involves lizard people and Satan. And probably the Jews. I mean, it always comes back to that. So, that said, it actually gets more dangerous when you start naming specific people when it comes to these conspiracy theories, and that's exactly what Lindell started to do.
Rusty Bowers is a compromised Republican. He's the Speaker of the House there. Now let me tell you, Doug Ducey now with Rusty Bowers. Rusty Bowers yesterday said this. We shamed him. Shame on you, Rusty Bowers. I got an investigation going into. I want to ask everybody, why would a Republican that's head of the legislatures come out and say, and just be an obstructionist for a year, Eric? It doesn't make sense. You're going, why would you do that? Why would you just say, hey, let's look at what we got here? Because we work for the American people. And then not only that, so you had Karen Fann, head of the Senate. We need to get everyone in this country behind those legislators that stood up, and the ones that are still sitting there, they all need to sign. And when they sign, the election of 2020 will get pulled down in Arizona. And guess what? We're coming for you, Wisconsin. We're coming for you, Pennsylvania. We're coming for you, Michigan. We're coming to you, Georgia. All of them are at different phases of getting pulled down.
Sure they are. Any day, Mike. Any day. It's going to happen. They're going to get pulled down. It's, again, this is sad and desperate. Very sad, very desperate. But also, the people that he named, dangerous. What happens when the election isn't pulled down? New conspiracy theory, of course. But what happens to the people? Well, probably death threats. Now, let me know that Bowers axed the bill immediately. As soon as Fincham, introduced this, Bowers was like, this is garbage. This is worthless. This is nothing. Let's get rid of it. Now, he also added, Mr. Fincham's obviously unconstitutional or profoundly unwise proposal will receive all of the attention it deserves. Which is basically nothing. Now, that said, you think they're going to be happy about that? No, there's going to be a horde of angry chuds looking to go out after those rhinos or Republicans in name only, right? Now, maybe I'll be fair. Maybe it'll be in a primary form. I'm totally fine with that. If you want to primary Republicans that you don't agree with, I believe in the primary process. I'm not a corporate Democrat. I love primaries. I think primaries are excellent in most cases. And now, unfortunately, on the right, they tend to primary people with more insane people. And so that's problematic. But I'd rather have it, them primary Republicans they don't agree with than do mini January 6s. Now, again, I told you I live in Michigan, and we had chuds that tried to kidnap the governor because they didn't agree with her. That's not good. That's not good at all. So now I hope they're not going to go in that direction, but at the same time, understand that Mikey, again, it's 2022. He's not going to stop. They're not going to stop. They're insane and putting out insane conspiracy theories, and they're going to continue to keep the insanity going for as long as humanly possible. And that's unfortunately the sad truth of this whole thing.